Hello. Alright, we're here. Patron deck reviews and no blues. We will not be distracted. I'm so far behind on these deck reviews. I am going to be very strict this time. Alright. This is from like 2 months ago. I'm way behind on these. This is also no longer how the Patron deck review system works. It is going to be different. You will see how that is at the end of this month. It's also described on the Patreon page. Anyway, real quick to explain how these decks work. Sideboard is things I'm adding, maybe board are things I'm cutting. Here is a link to the folder so you can follow along. This is every deck that I'm doing here. And first one is this Hogak list. Now Hogak's like a really interesting commander because it cheats the commander tax so well, which is pretty crazy. Hogak is honestly like a ridiculous card. I mean, it literally says you can't spend mana to cast this. It's so fun. Like, they don't even want you to play the card fairly. You have to cheese it. Yeah, this card's crazy. It's a huge mistake. We can see what this user said for their Hogak list. They said, this deck tries to ramp, in air quotes, into Hogak and then sacrifice it for value, card draw, recast, blah, blah, blah. Then tries to combo with Hogak, late game. Okay. There's one card that actually, Elk told me about that is really good with Hogak. Blanking on what it is now. Sacrifice, discard. Oh, it lets you like sack. It lets you sacrifice a creature, and then a player discards equal to its power. What is this card? I'm totally blanking on the name. It's not any of these. Oh, is it Ruthless? It's not Ruthless Disposal. Discard power. It is a black card. It's not a creature. Tormented Thoughts. Boom, there we go. Found it. Yeah, this lets you sack Hogak and then have someone basically discard their hand because they have to discard 8 cards, which is kind of insane. Yeah, Burnt Offering, Momentous Fall effects, which, we have Life's Legacy, but we don't have Momentous Fall, which I really like Momentous Fall. Like, gaining 8 life is really good. Momentous Fall. We're still in June. Yeah, we're still in June. Dude, well, here's the thing, is like, this, and I'm, not to put them on blast or whatever, but like, this user was supposed to submit in May, and then they missed it, and I didn't want them to not get a deck reviewed. So then it gets pushed to June. So the June one now has more than I anticipated because there's multiple people that are like, oh, I forgot to submit and blah, blah, blah. Which is part of the reason that I'm like changing the whole system is like I ended up with all these like corner cases, and I feel bad when they've like they've paid for it. But like, I want the people to stick hard to the deadlines, but I feel bad otherwise, So I usually try and just accommodate them, just let them submit and blah, blah, blah. And then I have too many lists and I can't actually get through it all. And that's why the whole system is changing, because I can't do this. And I want to stream playing games with patrons more than this, because I'd rather play EDH with patrons. You know what I'm saying? Livestreams Legacy is another good one, yeah. Is that card like weirdly expensive? No, it's not. Okay, good. Yeah, so like, looking at your list, I'm pretty sure this list is like plenty good at casting your goofy commander because, I mean, you just gotta mill cards. It has Convoke, so, Hello, Maki. Good morning. I just think we need even more sacrificey value. Just because I feel like in a deck like this, once you draw 8 one time, you're like... you're really close to winning the game. Like, it's hard to lose if you hit a draw 8, You know what? This is also, and I will rarely... Well, no, never mind. Never mind. Ignore what I was about to say. Let's look at some things to cut. We have a lot of fun things here. Honestly, nothing jumps out at me as being, like, overly bad. Here's my thought. It's like, maybe we cut Grist. I know it's like sack a creature, destroy something. Well, I don't know. I never like having people remove removal, Do we need a Crater Hoof? Honestly, probably not. Like, I don't know how much we need Crater Hoof. I mean, I know we're going wide, so... we go pretty wide, so maybe this is just like to have a more consistent finisher. You might not need it, but I don't know if it's good enough to... I don't know if it's bad enough to cut. Are we not running, Do you not want, Underworld? What the fuck is that card called? It's like black. What was the broken Hogak card that got banned in Modern? Oh, Bridge from Below. There we go. Isn't Bridge from Below just like insane in this deck? Whenever a non-token creature is put into your graveyard, you make a 2/2 zombie. Whenever a creature is put into an opponent's graveyard from play, it gets exiled or whatever, right? You just mill this thing, and then you get to go like, okay, cool. I can sacrifice something to Disciple of Bolus, and then you get a free 2/2 out of it. Isn't that just really good? Yo, what up, Choo Choo Beans? What does this card do? Whenever one or more cards are put into your graveyard from your library, each opponent loses 1 life for each card type among those cards. Sure. When you unlock this door, mill 3 cards, then return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, alright. That's not bad. Tend the pest, sack a creature, make X1/1s equal to that creature's power. Sure. Return the Wild Speaker is good. Pile on is reasonable. Noxious Survival is good in a list like this. Grizzly Cellar is fine. Man, there's really no like bad cards. I think Grist might be the slowest thing. Because it's not like it makes use of Hogak's power. It does make use of fodder, but we also already have like good removal. If you want a removal spell, it's 2 removal spells on alternating turns if it lives, but that seems like a lot of ifs. Do we want Yagra in this deck for... I don't think so. That's like probably too mana intensive. This deck has so many mana dorks. Is there anything on 3 that we're casting in particular, or is it just they're good with Hogak? Because here's the weird thing about mana dorks is everything's a mana dork for Hogak because it has Convoke. So they don't actually like functionally do anything different for the deck. Like Stitcher Supplier is better than any mana dork here because it taps for 1 for your commander and does something else. It's kind of odd. It's not that they're bad in this list. It's just, I don't know. Maybe you want other 1 mana utility cards. What does this Guild Mage do? Gives a creature Intimidate and +1/+1. That's pretty good with the commander. Sacrifice a non-token creature. X's its toughness. You can go Devoted Druid. Convoke -1. Tap it again. Worm Harvest is a high amount, but it is also like Worm Harvest plus Life from the Loam is like a late game, just like infinite value engine that I really like. Zilliport Cutthroat feels weird. I totally miss Zilliport Cutthroat. I agree. I don't think it's particularly useful in this list. But is there Blood Artist in here too? Okay, no, there isn't. Honestly, maybe Bridge is bad because we're not sacking that many things, because we're just convoking. I think I like the Worm Harvest. I think these are my changes. Torment of Thoughts is insane. You sack Hogak, delete a player from the game. 2 more of these like high value ones, because I think it's just better than like the Guild Mage. Momentous Fall is just 4 mana, whereas this is like, I know you can repeat it, but it's 6 mana, it's a lot. And then Lifestream Blessing is probably more value than just Grist. Moving on. Alright, this is this guy, Mirror of the Wilds. He's got haste, non-token creatures you control have tap, create a token copy of this. Oh, of target creature that ended the battlefield this turn. Okay, cool. See what this patron said about this deck. Goes wide. This deck is a Geared goes. How do I pronounce his name? Geared? Geared? Trying to blitz through the Undercity for value multiple times. 1 infinite with Midnight Guard. Otherwise pretty fair. Slow, can recover from board wipes really well. Would appreciate some tips on how to balance token making sources versus copy targets. And any card always has. Okay. Aiming for bracket 3. Infinite budget is proxy friendly. Got it. This commander is interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anyone play it. Geared? Is that how it's pronounced? Ugh. Sorry, I'm tired as hell. Non-token creatures you control have tap. Create a token that's a copy of target token you control that entered the battlefield this turn. So you have to make tokens of things to then make more copies of those tokens, right? Right, so you want to give, Myriad to your whatever, Seasoned Dungeoneer, and then copy it again a bunch to make like 1 billion Dungeoneers. There and back again? There, and back. So I've looked it up before because I forgot what this card does. Oh! It makes a legendary one. You can't copy it. Oh, well, I guess you could just get 14 treasures. That is really funny. Wait a second. Is that good? Up to one target creature can't block for as long as you control the saga. That's not bad. Especially for a mountain. Maybe. Do they have... Let me check if this... I guess this list... They have duels, right? You know, we have Canopy Vistas. I'll say, if you're going to, like, no budget because it's all proxies, I would get rid of these and just put in, like, real dual lands, right? Like, why not add a Taiga or a Plateau instead of Sunscorched Divide? He's just Naya Kiki combo. If you Molten Duplication with the Feldon Guardian, you go infinite. Oh, that's true. Yeah, you copy it, end up with 77 treasures. That is funny. That is really funny. It is also, like it's not awful. I don't know. It is... It's 5 mana. I'll think about it. Maybe. It is funny. 5 mana is so much. Faithless Looting. Get this crap out of here. We're not a graveyard deck. This card's useless. Just play real card draw. I like Flame Shadow Conjuring. Sure, Echoing Assault. I like this card too. See the Unwritten? Hell yeah. Oh, yeah, I love that card. It's funny, which is enough of a reason. I mean, yeah. Here's the thing is, like, funny cards are, like, great to add, but, like, if it's... Determining whether or not it's funny enough for the player is a decision only that player can make. I don't like to suggest cards just because they're funny, because what if they don't find it that funny, you know? And then I didn't suggest it because it was good. Why are we running a bunch of 2 mana dorks? It's kind of odd. Poison Darfrog and, like, Nightshade Druid. Mesmeric Orb is pretty funny. I don't know if we're adding it to this list, though. It's just cards like Llanowar. Oh, no, Llanowar's got puts a land. What is this? Carotid, right? I guess I can tap for 2. I don't know. I'm just kind of a little weirded out by them. Because you could just play 1 mana Dorks. Because you have a 3 mana commander, right? So I think... You know, if you really want to get your commander online, which I think this deck does, you know, I think like a Poison Darfrog can get swapped for like Birds of Paradise. You know, Populate sounds good. Yeah, Populate's pretty good. Sandworm Convergence. I love that card. I mean, I feel like you have a reasonable amount of, like, Flame Shadow Conjuring. You don't want too many of these effects, because you want more of the initiative effects. Because you only need 1 Flame Shadow Conjuring, really, type effect in play. But one thing that I actually wonder about is, like, maybe, like, is this a deck that wants, like, oops. That wants, like, an Eerie Interlude type effect? Because this is really good with your things that are, like, ETB, take the initiative, but then it also has them re-enter, which re-triggers Flame Shadow Conjuring, and its protection for, like, a board wipe. I really like that. It's the same... This deck doesn't run blue, so you can't play Astral Dragon. Astral Dragon would be perfect for this deck, but, you know. Maybe you have to build the 5-color Gired thing, you know? Yeah, more instants might help. Yeah, I think Eerie Interlude might be good here. I think I gotta not say... Look, if they watch the stream and they were like, there and back again, it's hilarious. You can find a spot for it. I don't... It's, like, too slow. Isn't this card terrible as a cap already? Confluence like garbage? No, you need it to make a token, don't you? Okay, never mind. The acrobatics is strictly better. I mean, it costs 1 more mana. I mean, you could go acrobatics. It's kind of an either or. Dawn's Truce? That was Dawn's Truce again? Oh, this one. No, because this doesn't, this gives you stuff indestructible. It doesn't flicker it, so it doesn't reset the ETBs. I think the flicker protection is higher value in this deck. This takes the initiative. Whenever another creature you control attacks against trample indestructible until the turn trample indestructible. What is this for? I guess if you make a copy of it and then make more copies, that's pretty good. Is Balin the Haymaker in here? I don't think so. Yeah, that's... yeah. Nah, you're right. Balin's pretty good in here. Well, this is a crack... okay. Yeah. Galadriel's Dismissal phases them out. Yeah, but that doesn't reset ETBs, so... When this enters, take the initiative, add double green. If you complete a dungeon, add 6 instead. Whoa, what the hell? This card's good. That's funny, Gecko Gamer. Yeah, what up, Samwise? Nahiri's Resolve does give your whole team haste, but it is 5 mana to give your whole team haste. Yeah, it resets ETBs though, it's pretty good. Whenever you attack the player has initiative, create a treasure token. Whenever you complete a dungeon, make a 5. That seems slow. This is really slow. I think this is the cat. Parting Gust? Oh, Parting Gust is pretty good. It might be better than Path in this deck. Okay. I'll leave it at that. I mean, I think this list overall is like pretty fine. It doesn't need like crazy changes. I would maybe like rethink some of these 2-mana dorks for more 1-mana ones. And if you're not playing, like if you're playing all proxies or whatever, fix up that mana base. You know, get rid of a, you know, get rid of these. Just put a real duel in, because like who cares? You're a 3-color deck. Yeah, you should be able to function. All right, moving on to this list. Hey, when will we see some more spell table streams? When I am through with these deck reviews. I've been off more than I can chew with the amount of deck reviews, and I'm trying to just like get through them so we can play some more games, because that's really what I want to do. Okay. This commander's cool. Jeskai, you fabricate 1. Other non-token creatures you control have fabricate 1, which is cool, and then you can either pay 2, tap, populate, or proliferate. The 2 Ps. Let's see what this patron wrote about this deck. Who is this? My shoes are cold. I don't... I don't see where they submitted this. Strange. Okay, then I'm just gonna have to look at the list and figure it out. I think I figured it out. We're playing stuff like Devilish Valet and Ingenious Artillerist, and we're going wide with our Jeskai stuff. Right, here's the Salt Skidder, we're blinking. This is a deck that probably wants Perforos, but it is an expensive card. Okay, so we're just gonna go wide, goofy stuff, right? Man, this deck wants Perforos really bad, but Perforos is like $20. Card needs a reprint. When the 24-hour deck review streamathon. Okay, I want to cut Treasure Nabber. This card does suck. And it doesn't do anything for your deck. You know it's a really great card when you're doing stuff like this? Ephara. Ephara is so good in a deck like this. Ephara plus Salt Skidder or... Oh, you have Perforos. I missed that. Ephara plus Salt Skidder or Ephara plus Noran the Wary just draws you 4 cards a turn cycle. It's like comical how good it is. Treasure Trapper is not good. This card is not good. I've played it in so many... I don't know if you remember, but when this card came out... Treasure Nabber. Look at the price history of this. This was... Everybody thought this card was crazy. It was like $13. And then it kind of like went up. I don't even remember why. And it has just always trended down. Because like... I think people just realize it's not that good. Uthros would be nice. What the hell is Uthros? You're an Uthros. This? What? You gotta be more specific, my guy. I mean, it's like fine. You can steal a rock like here or there or whatever. It's not that good. It's not consistent ramp either. I do like that we're playing Pandemonium. This is really funny. The land? Uthros. This thing? This thing sucks. This card is so bad. Oh man, this card is so bad. Which sucks because like it looks cool. This card is terrible. This card is super bad. Okay. If you want that effect, we can just play the enchantment that flips instantly. You know, Vault of, you know, whatever the hell it's called. Storm of the Vault. Storm of the Vault, at the beginning of your end step, if you have 5 or more artifacts, it transforms. And it can make treasures. This instantly flips to the other side of it. It's so easy to flip this thing. So if you didn't play Storm the Vault, there's absolutely no reason to play the other card. Because that thing needs 12 power to be tapped. This deck is all weenies. No, the planets, like, the green one is good because green has, like, comically large creatures and you can turn it on in, like, 1 turn cycle. In this deck, we're not turning that thing on. It's just not happening. Yeah, Storm of the Vault is just a strictly better card, basically. I'm glad Treasure Nabber saved your family from bankruptcy. The card is still bad. Essence Chatter is really interesting. I think it's a little narrow. And I actually want to recommend a few different counterspells to change the counterspell package a little bit. You know what's a card that I actually think is really sweet, really underrated? Is Urtai's Scorn. This card is mad underrated. So, on its face, it's cancel, which isn't great, right? Cancel is pretty mid. But it costs blue less to cast if an opponent casts 2 or more spells this turn, which happens a lot. And then it's just blue and 1 counterspell, which is so sweet. The real answer might be Davin's Veto. Although Davin's Veto, I think you would replace Negate with Davin's Veto, of all things. I just think Essence Shatter is like a tad narrow. Wash Away is another really awesome counterspell that I think is also super underrated, and I think does what Essence Scatter does a lot better as well. We can even say it over Urtai's Scorn. So it's counter-target spell that wasn't cast from its owner's hand if you pay the cleave cost. So it can counter anything for blue, 1. But it also counters any commander for 1 blue mana, which is, like, really good. Long River's Pull is also sick because it has, like, political usage. There's lots of great things. I just think if you're playing Essence Scatter, I think a lot of what Essence Scatter does is counter commanders, which is good. 2 mana counter someone's commander is great, but 1 mana counter someone's commander with the flexibility to counter anything is, like, even better, I think. Yeah, and we can find a spot for 1,000 years. I don't think 1,000 Year Smithy is expensive, right? 1,000 Year Smithy. Yeah, it's like $2. Yeah, let's get some 1,000 Year Smithy in here. This card's really good. Just gonna find one more cut. What the hell is this thing do? Other Thopters gonna plus 1/+1. What overall artifact put into sure. That's pretty good. Do we not have Psi Master Thopters in this list? I guess we don't actually cast that many artifacts. Wash Away gives you trauma from Historic Brawl. I mean, look, it's a good card. Wash Away. I remember, like, an old Counterspell video. I was talking about Wash Away, and everybody was like, man, the comments, people were like, what the hell, Wash Away? This card's terrible. And then you realize it's just, oh, it's like, if you're going to Swords to Plowshares, someone's commander, Wash Away is basically just better. It's crazy. This card is so good. Assemble of Players kind of sucks. You may cast spells as though they had flash as flash? I don't know how much that even means anything in this deck. Alright. 1,000 Year Smithy I think is just way better. Boom. Deep Shaker Titan. Deep Shake. What? Oh, Depth Shaker. Ah. This thing. Oh, yeah, this is the new one. Oh, yeah. Whenever this creature enters any number of non-token artifacts you control, become 3/3 artifacts, so being the next end step, and you sack them. Each artifact you control has melee trample haste. This thing's cool. I do like this card. It's pretty fun. It's only non-creature artifacts, though, so it's not going to buff up the tokens, yeah. Okay, the infamous Cruelclaw. So Cruelclaw is pretty cool. It's whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you exile the top card of your library until you hit a non-land card, you cast it for free, but you have to discard a card. Which is cool. So if you can rig the top of your deck or whatever, you can, cheat into play big things, you can do funny stuff. Immediately, the first thing that I'm noticing is this deck is not taking advantage of Cruelclaw. Like, watch this. Let's just, what the hell's there? Playtester. Okay. Let's imagine Cruelclaw came down, hit. What am I going to get? I got a Harmless Offering. What the hell do I do with this? Let's do another Cruelclaw trigger. Wheel of Fate? Sure. I guess we wheel. For no real benefit to us, by the way. This is minus 14 cards. How many gift subs to hire you as my CPA? Well, I'm not licensed as a CPA, so enough to handle the lawsuit afterwards. Gross, a bot ban. Oh, there was a ban. There was a bot. Let me get rid of it. There we go. Hostile negotiations. The Golem scheming guide. What? Like, look, what is this? Are we cheating Golem scheming guide? I don't. Like, I'm just confused about the point of Cruelclaw as the commander for this deck. It wheels Cruelclaw? Well, it's just like the random... Like, do we want to spin into Pyroblast? I don't... let me see what this patron said, because maybe there's something I'm missing about this deck. But it looks to me, and I really usually don't try and say this, you should just play a different commander. You want to play big, dumb, risky spells for free using politics and win via repay in kind or doomsday piles. You don't mind losing a bunch of life. It's part of the win con. Feels like it comes short on removal and interaction, especially cards like the Rakdos, Chaos Wimps, Fates. Maintain the vibe of the deck. Blah blah blah. Okay, so I'm gonna let's go to EDH Rack for a second. And let's go to Rakdos. Where is it? Cruelclaw. So if we look at most Cruelclaw decks, the like point is to play like 7 drops and 6 drops and 9 drops and like cheat them into play, because that's what Cruelclaw's good at, is you get mana advantage. This deck is like just not using that. Like if we look at our curve here, there's 2 8 drops, 4 7 drops, 6 drops, and then like 5. Our average mana is 3.6. Can we see stats charts? Do we get an average mana? Okay, they're averaging like just way more higher cards. And you know, this is obviously to say, you know, take this all with a grain of salt or whatever, right? You're not supposed to. You shouldn't go to EDH Rack and be like, oh, this is what you have to do, blah blah blah. But I'm just saying, like, generally, this is the purpose of the card, and I don't think this deck is even just doing the purpose of the card. So I'm gonna do something that I don't usually do, and that is recommend a new commander. I'm gonna recommend you cut infamous Cruelclaw, and we play something else. Now, here's the thing: is like, I'm with you on the like high risk, high reward, do wacky things, kind of deck. And if you want the list to still be basically the same, right? We can effectively keep the list mostly the same, where you're just like casting like big dumb things. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, this someone in chat said it. You could put Karavek in the command zone. You could also just like, if you want some chaos or whatever, but just like value that gets you to the late game, you can play something like Kazakar, the Eye Tyrant. You could play Carador, you know, Doom Scourge or whatever. Like, oh, he's already in the deck, but you know what I mean. Like these cards are mid-game value pieces that they're mid-game value pieces that get you to the silly stuff in the late game, but you don't have to overhaul the deck for that. Because the problem is, if you want to be playing stuff like Final Fortune or Tibalt's Trickery and like stunning reversal, that's all well and good, but like you really don't want to flip into a Final Fortune with Cruelclaw. Like that's just an anti-synergy, because you don't want to play Final Fortune unless it's a good time to play Final Fortune. And it's the same with Pyroblast, or like even some of these other things, like Let's Play a Game or Reanimate. Like, if you flip into Reanimate, you don't have a target, it just doesn't do anything. Your friends hate your Karagazar deck? Really? Anyway, I think something like this could be, like, much better. Yo, cheers from Brazil. Hey, what's up? Thank you. I'm glad you like the videos. But yeah, like a commander that gets you good mid-range value. It could even be just something like Olivia, where it just like does things on its own, and you can kind of ignore it. And then when you do that, you open yourself up to being able to cut stuff like Key to the City or whatever, or some of these other like, you know, random bad cards. Why not maintain Cruelclaw and place at least 12 1-mana ramp, and the rest is a... Well, that's like a complete overhaul of the deck, right? And if they want to be running these other cards, then they, you know, if they wanted to do that, they would have put those in the deck. But I don't think that's what you want to do. So yeah, I would change Cruelclaw, and then I would like cut some of these things that you have to like give unblockable or whatever, and swap it with other stuff. Cruelclaw does have crazy aura. I mean, this is true. This art is sweet. Like, this looks cool. Yeah, so Cruelclaw is a cut. I'll just move to this baby board. And then if you add, you know, any of these as your other commander or whatever, we now have, you know, at least 2 more slots open up for like fun, wacky red cards. And if you just want to play like wacky red cards, you know, we should be playing like, I don't know, Prisoner's Dilemma or whatever. And then if you want more removal, this is easy. You just add more removal. Just put a Bedevil in there. Bada bing, bada boom. And if you make Olivia your commander, that actually solves your lack of removal problem as well, because it is 7 mana, remove any creature. Oh, or some of these goad things are kind of removal too. Alright. Mob Rule. Mob Rule's good. Prosper. Yeah, Prosper could be the commander too. It's just card draw or whatever. Anyway, that's what I have to say about your Cruelclaw deck. Moving on. We have 8 more. It's already 11, 10. Okay. Alright, Elsha, who giggles at the chance. Who giggles at chance. That's a good deck name. Hey, look, Mesmeric Orb, Dog Sauce. Look at that. This commander is really good, actually. I think it's a very good commander. Okay, they said this is a Brawl deck. I just noticed. Okay. Oh. Discard mill your key pieces. Okay. Land count doesn't have to be an issue. Land count hasn't been an issue. What do you play? 35? Better interaction or defensive spells to choose. Better interaction or defensive spells. The hell's legal in Brawl? What is Brawl again? Needs Basalt Monolith? Is Brawl just like, is it standard legal cards? Yeah? not even sure. I need to figure out what's even in Brawl. I guess Mithril Code, right? Yeah, Lord of the Rings is in. Tarkir is in. Arena Commander, yeah, but is it just standard legal cards? I guess not, right? Because there's Phyrexian Tower. I mean, I guess immediately, yeah. Mithril Coat. Mithril Coat makes sense as more protection. There is standard Brawl and then just Brawl. Oh, okay. So it's like, I guess I'll find out. From my understanding, it says Brawl is 1v1. Ah, it's not legal in Brawl. Okay, Brawl is... Okay. Oh, what's the red spree card? Oh, man. Spree... Red... Yeah. Return the Favor. That's Brawl legal. Yeah. This is good protection. This card slaps. And it lets you copy an activated or triggered ability. So you actually can copy the raid trigger and you get to do it twice, which is really sweet. Do we want like a go for the throat? I feel like you're a little light on interaction. Or a braid? I think a braid would be really nice here. Thank you, Raven. I try to. I'm usually just tired because it's the morning. Okay, this Necrogoyf. Is this any good? Undead Butler, sure. Target player mills 2. This seems really low impact. I know it's 1v1, so it's a little different, but golly, that's like nothing. What the hell is this? Oh, it's Diabolic Intent. Okay. Eaten Alive is good. Buried Alive is fine. Sorceress's Scheme. Return to right instant sorcery from the graveyard or exile a card with flashback. Add a red. What are we returning? We're mostly a creature deck. This doesn't seem very good. Everyone is allowed one ban card in EDH for their list. That is crazy busted. Is that crazy? I mean, it would be like really high variance, right? Because if one person is like, oh, here's my fast bond. I, put 10 lands into play on turn 1 and win the game. It would just create more games like that, which don't seem very good. This is 5 mana. This thing is not worth. Okay, here we go. Alright, I think we have a little bit more of removal now. Mithril Coat and Return the Favor. Pretty sweet. And in 1v1, man, cards like Return the Favor are sweet. They go remove your commander, and you go, remove your commander. It's like a 2-for-1. Because you effectively counter the removal on yours and cast 1 on their opponents. Super crazy. Mithril Coat's just really good. And then a Braid seems really great in a slightly lower to the ground format like Brawl. Yeah, Time Vault plus an untapper is just an infinite win. Yeah, there's too many a lot of there are you know, as much as I'm as much as I'm for like you know, more things coming off the ban list or whatever and stuff. There's a lot of things that are on the ban list for like good reason. Like I don't want channel in someone's deck because it's just like you know, it'll be like oops, I win the game, and like more oops, I win the game cards is probably not very good for commander. Like that doesn't seem very healthy. Okay, Hashton. All right. Oh yeah, this is a Hashton of Lurrus list, which is actually really cool. Let me see what they said. Hashton. I don't see where their Hashton list is. Oh, there it is. Some clean Drago control in Esper. It's a Lurrus pile. I feel like you're missing some really impactful non-board wipe spells. Not sure exactly what. It's not in a position where mass reanimation is super... I feel like it's not in a position where mass reanimation is super impactful. It's a bit tough to gauge when my biggest threat consists of Psychic Frog, or a couple of key creatures, and Tortured Existence. Okay, interesting. I mean, Drago control is neat, although we are really heavy on creatures for Drago control. I mean, this is 28? Almost a third of your deck is, like, beat sticks. And you have 10 instants? I don't think this is Drago control. It really doesn't feel that way to me. Paradise Mentally is so odd. Bit of a strange choice. You haven't played against your channel deck? What? I mean, I built a channel control deck that had a lot of creatures that was Drago control, but this is clearly not that. These are all like evasive, like attacking combat-y creatures. So I guess that's my like first issue with this list is you say it's Drago control, yet I look at it, you know, peeks inside, you know, Esper mid-range, which is fine, by the way. Like, this seems like a great Esper mid-range list. I just don't think it's Drago control. You feel like you're not in a position where mass reanimation works that well, and that makes sense, because I don't think your list leans towards mass reanimation. You feel you're not sure, blah, blah, blah. You feel like it's not in a position where mass reanimation spells are super impactful. Agreed. Because we don't have any milling. Mass reanimation is good when you like turbo self-mill and you put, you know, your whole deck into your graveyard. But we have like no mill in this deck. There's like nothing. Because of that, yeah, I think mass reanimation is just not going to work here. All right, here's my thing. Is actually I think this is a great candidate for a deck that does not need rocks. Is this even a Lurrus deck? Where are the baubles? I mean, yeah, actually, I'm getting a phone call. Oops. I actually think this might be like a no rock list. Because, like, we're playing all of these, like, aggressive, low-to-the-ground creatures. Why are we taking off a turn to play a mana rock? Don't you want to, like... I don't know, like play your Polywog Prodigy and start like getting value. Looter Jace would be pretty good. So actually, I think this might be a no mana rock recommendation. Whoops. Nope. Don't. Whatever the fuck. Don't do whatever you're doing. Can I just do this? There we go. Can the mana base support Sword of the Animus? Maybe. No, it needs rocks. Hashton is mana hungry. This is an average mana value 2. Average mana value 2 here. I don't know what are we doing with this mana? Like there's nothing here even discards anything other than like Ghostly Pilferer. Like if we're just playing like Dimir Infiltrator and then Hashaton, what are we spending the mana rock mana on? Like it just doesn't make any sense. I don't like. Yeah, late game when you have stuff in your graveyard that you want to loop and Tortured Existence and Hashaton, sure, yes, you're gonna want mana. In which case, we should put a couple more MDFCs in here and just hit our land drops. There's nothing to ramp into. Like, there's literally no high cost cards in here to like accelerate towards. Doesn't really make any sense. Search for Azcanta. Now that's great. You know, search for Azcanta. Excellent. This is something you want to play on turn 2 in this deck. Hashaton casts 3 each trigger. I know Hashaton casts 3 each trigger. When are we activating Hashaton? When are we triggering this card? Is it when you cast Baleful Strix? No. Is it when you cast Cathar's Commander? No. Is it when you cast Containment Construct? No. This is, you need to also discard. Is it when you cast Cryptbreaker? Maybe? Like, when are we activating Cryptbreaker? So we play it on 1, Hashaton on 2. Where did the Mana Rock fit into that? So if we go Cryptbreaker 1, Mana Rock on 2, Hashaton on 3, we still don't have enough mana to also activate and Hashaton. Like, what are we skipping? What are we ramping into? Is it not just better to just hit 5 land drops to go Cryptbreaker, Construct, Hashaton, activate Cryptbreaker, and Hashaton? Like, we don't have to play this mana rock that does literally nothing. It just doesn't fit the curve. It just doesn't make any sense at all in this list. Draw a card, discard a card. When you discard a creature, activate this way. Cool. You play this on 2, you play Hashaton on 3, you discard and activate Hashaton on 4. What was the point of the Mana Rock? You would have done this 1 turn slower, right? If you went Mana Rock on 2, and then you play this and Hashaton on 3, then you activate on 4, that's the same speed, right? It's like... do you get what I'm saying? Right? Like, literally, if you play this on 2, then Hashaton, then activate... Isn't that the same speed? Because you're doing it on turn 4 anyway. And that's not even talking about cards like Polywog Prodigy, which you want to get down as early as you possibly can, so it starts farming. Malcolm is the same thing. You want to hit multiple times. I don't know why this is in the deck. Each legendary permanent you control has Ward 2. I guess that's okay. Yeah, but I want to recommend some MDFCs for a list like this. I also want to cut Jace probably, but it's okay. Okay, let's get some more utility lands in here. Let's get some more MDFCs in here. What are some good MDFCs in these colors? That is not the thing I meant to do. Criteria. Modal. Double face cards. How many lands are in this? 32 and then 34. Yeah, I do wanna add some yeah, Hagra Mauling's pretty good. Felar Profane, that's the good one. Feldon Profane. Oh, is it already in here? Did I miss that? Oh, it is. Okay. Let's add Hagra Mauling then. We can't do Glasspool Mimic because this is a Lurrus deck. We're a control deck onto inversion. I wish there was a way to counter this list. The humble chalice on 2. Thank you, Airsoft Wrong. Thank you, my guy. Yeah, chalice on 2 hoses this deck. Holy. Oh, Sink into Stupor is so good. Is that in this list already? It is. Okay, good. Maybe Waterlog Teachings is pretty useful. Well, maybe it's not that useful. Those are the main ones I want to add. I guess this could be a Kabira takedown deck. Because it is pretty high on creatures. Is Chalice the only thing holding back Lurrus? Not really. We need Kabira takedown. Okay. Chalice is Chalice a crazy card to run in EDH or am I cooking it? I mean in CDH it's quite good if you can get away with it. In casual EDH, Chalice is really bad. Likeness Looter for more looting. Yeah, maybe. I kind of like the Jace idea better. Is that 6? So I can add one more? Okay, cool. Oh, I had one that was like on the tip of my tongue. Oh yeah, you know, I actually really like just adding a Mishra's Bauble into a deck like this, and honestly, maybe even over the Jace, like Urza's Bauble as well. Urza's Bauble's $8. Oh no, it's just this printing, right? Is it the 5th edition one? That also $8? No. No. It's like $3. Okay, cool. Yeah. So with Lurrus, these things are really great, and your curve is pretty low. The cantrips help you hit your land drops. Blah 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 blah. Right? It's 2 extra cantrips. I think 2 extra cantrips is really sweet in this list. And then with Lurrus is a card draw engine, which is really nice. All right, those are my thoughts on your deck. You should cut your mana rocks. Okay, Nekusar. Now this is a classic, right? This is a classic commander, and it appears this is a classic Nekusar deck. Let's see what they said. Nekusar. There it is. It's a wheel deck. This deck gets arch enemy status. Biggest flaw is that it does not have much interaction or protection. Use proxies, so price does not matter. Cool. Yes. So yeah, the problem with this is iconic. That Nekusar is pretty solid already. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like, you know, Nekusar is like one of the most played cards or commanders, you know? No Narset? Oh, my guy. My guy. Narset? I think, is that a 2-card combo? Does that make it bracket 4? So, if you don't know, Narset, Parter of Veils, well, here's the problem with Parter of Veils, is that it turns off your win cons, right? Like, I know it's really strong, but it turns off the win cons. I'm going to assume that this person knows about Narset and then didn't put it in. Okay, so here's the thing, is like, in your little blurb about this deck, you're like, the problem is it doesn't have interaction. And then I look at the deck, and I say, wow, there's no interaction. You have like 2 counterspells and a commit to memory. We can just add interaction. Like, you know, I don't want to, like, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to imply anything. You know, obviously, you built the deck however you want, but if you've determined it's that, man, we just put interaction in here. But Devil is really great. You probably want a lot of lower cost things, though, just because of, you're going to wheel and then probably not have that much mana left over. And look at this. Boom! Wash Away is back, baby. Although, in reality, Swan Song is probably better. A lot of these 1-mana counters, even like Strict Serenade, are all like really good. Because it's very easy for you to wheel and hold up 1 mana, and then you wheel into another one, you know? She will sway on my stars until I pay 8 blue. Yeah. Man, this card sucks. It's so much mana. It's like 10 mana. Holy cow. Boy, you're never getting there. Especially if this deck makes you archenemy. Another thing I'm noticing. So you put it... I just gotta point this out. You put a 10-drop in your deck. And let me put this back in the deck for a second. Back in the deck. Which makes your average mana 3.24 because you have this huge-ass 10-drop in here. And we're playing 32 lands. Oh my goodness. You need to get this out of here. No 10-drop with 30 lands? Holy. Now, granted, you can go a little lower on lands because this deck is full of draw 7s, right? So, like, obviously, it's easier to hit your land drops. But here's the thing. Is we can 2 birds, 1 stone here. By putting MDFCs that are removal. This way you have the best of both worlds. You know, you can do that. Also, for interaction, yes, I agree with you, Monkey. This is a deck where Arcane Denial is perfect. It's a force a draw deck. That's the whole theme. I'm baffled that there's no Arcane Denial in the deck. Like, this is the place to play it. Yeah, I like, totally with you. Also, yeah, Rakdos Charm, sure. That card slaps. Rakdos Charm, love that card. Alright, now let's cut some junk. Let's cut some junk. You know? I do want to put in Sink into Stupor. This card's really good. Okay. Locust Miser, funny card. I like it. Great. Get this crap out of here. The hell's Gnat Miser? Yeah, get this crap out of here. Look, these are funny, they're quirky, but if you want your deck to run better, you gotta cut some quirky cards. This needs a sneaky Mirrorbat Phantasm. Look, Andrew, I appreciate the gusto. I don't think this deck needs I don't think this needs Mirror Mad Phantasm. Trigger. Look, I don't like Arcane Denial in random decks, especially not just like control decks. But in like the forced draw Grixis pile that wants low cost interaction, it's kind of a good card. I've never said that this is unplayable. You should never play Arcane Denial. I've never said that. This is just, you know, not in every single deck randomly. When this enters, each player discards a card. You fill people back up to 7 cards. What's the point of this? It's a recession indicator. That's funny. For each card fewer than 3 in their hand? What? What? Why are we playing this? Why would we play Wheel of Torture, which is like a card for discard decks, when we're playing all the wheels that draw people into 7, that turn off the Wheel of Torture? Long River's Pull. Yo, yeah. Long River's Pull. Another banger right there. Target opponent discards down to 4 cards during their discard phase. I don't know why this is in the deck. Okay. Well, I mean, now we're at 6 and 6. This is kind of perfect. Rather see the Owlie. The Owl's better, and that's not even that good. Bone Miser to get some removal not pointed at. Does it not already have Bone Miser? Bone Miser is pretty sweet. It's very win more, though. I feel like you really don't want to cast a 5-drop. I think you just want to, like... Right, like, play Nekusar, which is already a 5-drop, and then just go wheel, wheel, wheel. I think adding the counterspell is like, a better solution there. Get rid of Reliquary Tower. Holy hell. Get this out of here. Play any other land. Reliquary Tower is abysmal in this deck. Because even if you have a bunch of cards in hand and then you go Wheel of Fortune, you go back down to 7 anyway. It's like, it literally doesn't do anything. Like, yes, I know you could draw 14 with Teferi's Ageless Insight. Who cares? If you're drawing 7, you're going to hit another draw 7. It like, doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah, Bone Miser is good, but this isn't really a discard deck. Yeah, it's very win more. I agree. Entropic Battlecruiser? What the hell is that? Entropic. Oh, this was my pre-release promo, and I didn't read the card. Whenever an opponent discards a card, they lose 3 lives. For Station 1? Wait, hold up. And then Station 8, Flying Death Touch, whenever it attacks, they discard a card. Blah, blah, blah. Whoa, wait. Whoa. Wait, that's actually really good. You can just station... You can play this on 4, play Nekusar, station it, and then wheel, and then just blast people for like 9, 12? What? Is Architect my editor of choice? It is exclusively because it has folders. That is the only reason. I made a YouTube short about this, actually. And supposedly, some people from Moxfield told me that they're going to change it and fix the folders on Moxfield, so I don't know. Oh, Force Fruition. That card's so win more in a deck like this. And, I don't know. It's also like 7 mana. Okay, anyway, these are the changes for Nekusar. Moving on. Ramos Sunforger, my goodness. A man after my own heart. Holy hell, this is sweet. I don't even have to look at the list. There's a Wheel of Sun and Moon in here. There's a... There's a Gruul Charm. Oh my goodness, this is awesome. This is a cool deck already. I think this is sweet. What did they say about this list? The Ramos Sunforger Toolbox. Haven't got a chance to plain tested more than a few times. Trying to tune the rollout more than anything. Sunforger can help search for all the pieces if necessary. Things, blah, blah, blah. It has some win more options to pivot if necessary. Big hurdles are the fragile. So I first real attempt to build a toolbox deck. Okay, all right. So you remember my wild research Sunforger deck? Yo, that deck sucked. That was awesome. Yeah, is this a wild research deck? Can we play wild research in here somehow? I don't think so. I think putting the research package is probably too jank. Yeah, here's some lore chat. Airsoft Wrong, who is also a YouTuber, makes airsoft content you should check out, and I were housemates in college, and we've played like a billion Commander games because it was like COVID, and our other two housemates also played EDH, and we proxied everything, so we just played like a ton of EDH, and we just made new decks all the time. So yeah, we've played so much Commander together. I feel like swapping the rocks for colored ram sources makes so much more sense. You know what? I totally agree with you here. Yeah, things like a Commander Sphere seem kind of odd in this deck because, you know, if I just played, I don't know, like a wood elves instead, then suddenly this is something that you could blink, and it triggers Ramos. You know, so missing Godo. Yeah, Godo's a great another tutor that's pretty good, and it's a very budget tutor. It's only $1. Cloud, or Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, so this person, they did say keep the suggestions budget. And that's like $30, and I think Stoneforge Mystic is like $40. They did see keep the suggestions somewhat budget, so I'm not going to suggest those. Cloud Shift and no Ephemerate. I do agree. I think Ephemerate is a better Cloud Shift. Yeah, both cards are expensive, yeah. Deathray Shaman and Fabro Elder. Fabro Elder's a little awkward because a lot of these are instants, and your commander's colorless. Maybe not. And without fetches, Deathright's kind of mid. I don't know. I'm a little iffy on that. Anyway, I'm not gonna make all the changes there, but I would recommend just when you watch. Oops, I bonked my microphone. When you watch this part of the stream, consider looking at all these like 3-mana rocks and swapping them for 3-mana Wood Elves type effects because they trigger your commander and they do something similar. And Wood Elves can color fix you because if you have stuff like Canopy Vista or Cinderglade, instead of, I know War and Power Stone taps for 2 or Commander Sphere taps for any, but Wood Elves kind of taps for any as you add more of these dual effects. So it still has that like fixing element, which is pretty nice. Or just any green ramp spell, like a Cultivate or whatever, you know? Which Cultivate also fixes you for anything. And then you just lean a little bit heavier into green in the mana base. Axeguard Armory is an equipment tutor. Alright. Chat, you're getting sidetracked with like equipment tutors and crap like that. That's not what we need. There's plenty of equipment tutors. This user already knows that they need to search up equipments for this deck to function. That's not what we care about here. What we care about is the toolbox. We're in 5 colors. We should be able to do anything when we activate Sunforger. Anything and everything. So what we need to do is look at these lists and go, okay, we're adding Ephemerate. That's a blink effect. If we need a blink effect, boom, we have blink effect. Angel's Grace. If we are going to lose the game, we can Angel's Grace. A Tarkus command, what does this do here? Prevents life gain. Boom. Boros Charm protects our stuff. Boom. Counterflux, that's a counter spell. Got that. Is there any instant you could use with Sunforger that could ramp you? I don't think so. I could be wrong, though. Tutor a creature. Okay, we got that. Tutor an artifact or enchantment. Gruel Charm. Creatures without flying can't block this turn. Gain control of permanents you own. Just 3 damage to each creature with flying. This one might be a little too narrow. I think you're not really searching for that. Jeskai Charm. Yep, that's got a couple of cool effects. Martyr Charm's good. Crop Rotation. I think we're already at our 3 game changes, right? 1, 2. Oh, actually, maybe we can add Crop Rotation. But that's not something you can search with Sunforger, because it's not red or white. I guess I should read Sunforger for anybody confused. Sorry. It's an equipment that gives +4/+0, and you attach it for 3. You can pay white and red, unequip it, search your library for a red or white instant mana value 4 or less, and you cast it for free. Master Warcraft is actually a doo-doo magic card. I really like this card, but it's not very good. Because it doesn't... You don't get to choose where the creatures go. So it lets you stop... It lets you stop, like, big creatures from attacking, but it doesn't goad them. Whereas I think actually a better thing would be Take the Bait. I think Take the Bait is a much better target. The Command Zone just dropped a video called How to Stomp Green Decks. How much did you pay, Rachel? That's funny. I'll have to check that out. Sunforger has a restriction. Yeah, it has to be a red or white instant that costs 4 or less. Yes, it's not any instant. If it was any instant, golly, the card would be sweet. This only tutors for Sunforger, does nothing else, which kind of sucks. Boil is really funny. And this deck doesn't have many islands, so you can actually run Boil, which is an instant that destroys all islands, which is funny, but I don't think it's necessary. Okay. So, Take the Bait, I think, is a really, really great one. What are we missing here, though? Like, is there anything that we're missing? I actually don't think so. I think we have most effects covered. We have good removal, we have Graveyard Hate, Artifact removal. Is there enchantment removal? I mean, this could just be fixed with a generous... A generous gift is pretty good here. You've only seen red and white instants because that's most people play it in Boros. Yeah, exactly. It's fun in a 5-color list because you get to do stuff like play Counterflux, which is an uncounterable counterspell that you're casting for 2 mana, which is really great. It's a fun card. Now, if you have the Angel's Grace in here already, there is something interesting you could add, which is, oh man, I'm blanking on the name. Extra turn spell that is white and red. Chance for Glory. So, Chance for Glory is an interesting win con in this deck. So, here's the thing, what you do with it is you equip your Sunforger, unequip, cast Chance for Glory. Next turn, equip, unequip, cast Angel's Grace, and you've taken an extra turn for free, which is cool, right? Yeah, what up, Grave Robber? If you have Wheel of Sun and Moon in play, those 2 things get shuffled back in the deck, which means if you have enough mana to equip and unequip again, you can Chance for Glory again. And then next turn, Angel's Grace and Chance for Glory again, you take infinite turns. Which is pretty good. If you want a combo finish. What is Mana Tide? I don't know what this is. So that's pretty great. Another thing that I think we're just missing in here is like the Pure Steel Paladin? Pure Steel Paladin and what is the red 1-drop that makes equip things cost less. Fervor Champion, yeah. This card's super good in Sunforger lists. Mana Tithe? I don't know why we'd play Mana Tithe. We just play real counter spells. We're in blue. Yeah, that was a lot of information. I'm sorry. SRAM? We only have like one equipment. SRAM would trigger like 3 times a game at most. Like ever. Do they have Deflecting Palm? Ooh, Deflecting Palm is pretty sweet. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Deflecting Palm is pretty sweet. Let's do a couple of cuts here. This is not very good. Deadeye Quartermaster. When it enters the battlefield, you may search out for an equipment or vehicle. Put in your head. Oh, interesting. Corpse Jack Menace. This is 2 win more. Don't worry about that. Settle the Wreckage. Oh man. Yeah. Settle the Wreckage is a crazy good target. Diplomatic Immunity is really funny. I think Pack Weapon might suck. Do you think Coppercoat Vanguard is good in an aggressive deck with 20 other humans? Probably. Ooh. Darwin's Veto. Yeah. The more I think about it, the more I think a Tarkus command kind of sucks. Diabolic Tutor is like 1 billion mana. Let's skip that. Anything else to cut? Maybe this thing? Maybe Calimax. You don't actually cast that many in one go, and it's just kind of a 4/4. Cut Trinket Mage to prove I'm staying humble. They don't have a Trinket Mage in this list. Okay, those are my changes, and of course, cut these other things for like green ramp spells. But yeah, otherwise this deck looks really fun. I hope some of my rambling made sense. It's already 11:55. Oh my god, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more lists. Why do we not have Trinket Mage for Sunforger over Trinket Mage doesn't search up Sunforger. Trinket Mage is butt. Wait, did I already? No, I did not already do this. This is just whatever they had there. Silesia Charm removes enchantments. Oh, true. But Generous Gift just hits everything. Sure, Silesia Charm can work too. Okay. What did this user say about this deck? Trying to find... There it is. This is your first paper deck you made so far. Intended to be a Spellslinger, Control, Pinging type deck. Currently feels similar to online Izzet decks that you make, which are too slow to do anything. Very funny. Regardless of how much removal / counter magic you run. Well, I'll have the solution to that. Struggling to find a dedicated theme, whereas it feels like you're floundering, even if you draw it to pieces you want. Yada yada. Want to keep it at bracket 2. Okay. So, well, one thing is, if you're struggling to find a theme, that is, potentially a problem. Whenever you cast a spell, if it's the first instant sorcery or otter. Other than this, you've cast this turn. You may have an opponent draw a card. If you do, you copy the spell. Choose a target for the copy. Now, this is why all of your 1-for-1 removal is just not working. Chad, can you catch him up on what's going on? I'm just deck reviewing some old Patron decks from like 2 months ago that I'm behind on. So here's the thing, is what I'm looking at here is I'm saying there's like cards that are good Magic the Gathering cards in a vacuum. Swan Song is a good Magic the Gathering card. Negate and not Magic Damper. Pognify and Lightning Bolt, I guess. These are all good, efficient Magic cards. Yo, see ya, Guru. These are efficient Magic cards. And when you look at lists online, you type in, strong, is it deck or whatever, you're going to find a lot of these Spellslinger-y cards. This commander is really, really bad for that deck. This is not a Spellslinger deck. This is not a, I'm going to cast a bunch of instants really quickly and trigger a bunch of things. This is, you cast a really massive spell, and then you give your opponent a card to play a huge, massive spell a second time. The problem is I don't see any massive spells. What are we actually copying? Into the Story is kind of good to copy, but if you're going, all right, Pognify, I'm going to remove your card, and then draw you a card, and I'll remove something else. They just drew into another threat, and they just play that, and suddenly you don't have a Pognify, right? And then it's like what are you doing? This isn't conducive to what this pile of cards wants to do. Yeah, Sigil is really sweet. Grayson Storm. Yeah, Ral Crackling Wit is like a great example of that because you want to like cast all your spells in one go or whatever. This deck wants Temporal Trespass. This deck does want Temporal Trespass, although you can't chain extra turns in bracket 2. You found my channel a few days ago. Excited to catch me live. Hey, yeah. I'm glad you're liking the stuff. So, this is, again, one of the few times that I do this, but what you're describing to me as an Is It deck is you're describing one of these commanders, but you built this commander instead. Or you're describing this thing, but you built this. If you're set on this commander, this deck needs a complete overhaul. You need to be playing like Magma Opus. You need to be playing Amanatu's Augury, right? Like, you need to be playing like massive spells that are worth copying. If you want to play a Spellslinger deck, we got some options. So you could pick one of these that are at the top, of the popular pile, blah, blah, blah. You could even play Mizzix or something. But let's find something a little spicier, right? We can make it a little bit more exciting. I think going like Agar, if you want more control, is kind of fun. You could play some like more damage, you could play some stuff like that, or I think somebody else mentioned it. Ral is pretty sweet if you want to do a bunch of things like this. Mizzix is sweet. Yeah, I agree, Fluff. Ral is pretty cool. Are these July reviews? No, this is from June. This is from June. I've had a lot of like IRL stuff going on. I just haven't been able to get to it. I will probably break for lunch and running some errands today, and then I'll finish up these a little bit later, depending on how long my errands take. You can play Nin, the Pain Artist, which is one of my favorite commanders. You can just play Karanos for like raw value. Like, we have so many other like Is It options that just let you do things that isn't this commander, Gandalf is obviously like works pretty well for this. So I would recommend Swapping the command. Oh, Joy Re-End is pretty sweet. When you cast your second spell, every turn you draw a card, you go boom, boom, draw, boom, boom, draw. Yeah, June, talk about backlog. I know, that's why I'm changing the whole system. I can't do this. Because the problem is some of these lists are from, like, even early. They're from May or whatever, and then people are like, oh, I forgot. And then, like, extra list gets tacked on. Rutha is, like, pretty sweet, although you kind of want to rehash the deck. Anyway, my point is, this commander is not good with this list. So we should change that. I'm gonna just, as a placeholder, put this as my suggestion. But you can totally do something else. Now, if we're building a spell slinger deck, we want some other things. We need so when you're playing 1-for-1 removal, counter spells and crap like that, the key thing is, what was the original commander? Elena. The key thing is card advantage. Card advantage, card advantage, card advantage. You need draw for this to even come close to functioning. And that means you need card draw engines. Things that are regularly, consistently, like Archmage Emeritus, drawing you lots of cards. Wavebreak Hippocampus. And if you're like, well, I don't know any card draw engines, what you can do is you can go to EDH Rack, pull up Wavebreak Hippocampus, and say, hey, what are some other things that go with this? And we can just scroll here without having to even think and find some other similar cards. Here's Archmage Emeritus. Let's see if we can find another creature or enchantment that does the boom. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. Hey, look at that. We found another one. No, Elena is really good. It's just not in this shell, or not the way they were describing the deck. This Niv Mizzet is great. If you untap with this Niv Mizzet, you'll probably have enough cards to, do whatever the hell you want. And then let's cut a couple of these things. Some of the stuff, I know you said it's like things that you just like cracked or whatever. There's a few of these that I think are just maybe a little on the slower side. I think Eject might be a little slow. It is 4 mana. And I think just some better card draw might be good. I'm not a huge fan of Magic Damper because you have counter magic, which is just, it can effectively give something hexproof, but it does more than that. What else? Crom in the 99. You know what? Yeah, sure. Crom in the 99, excellent choice. What else do we have in here? What's kind of slow? Ice Magic is kind of bad, I think. I guess it's like 2 mana bounce. It's like not awful. Sleep Magic. It's okay. Herald's Horn. Arcane Signet. Thran Dynamo is kind of awkward in a deck like this because you have so many cheap spells. You have a lot of pips. You need to hit double blue into a red, or red and blue-red. It's kind of eh. Valley Flood Color, are we all going all instants? I mean, it doesn't have to be all instants. Although instants are better with Draw Your Hand, it doesn't. Thank you, Samwise. Actually, other Crom too. I don't know about other Crom. Lightning Strike is 2 mana. We ditched that. I'm not gonna go too crazy right now on this. Yeah, that's what I would say. That's my 2 cents about this. I think you need to either reevaluate the entire deck or change the commander and make it more spell slingery. Can I get through? Oops. Can I get through these other lists kind of quickly? I'm starving. uh, Felar the Steadfast. Here's what I'll say about this: is I notice we're running not a lot of ramp, which is fine. I don't know if this deck necessarily needs ramp. But we don't have any lands to compensate for this. So I feel like immediately all I'm going to say is, like, I think it's MDFC time. What's the commander here? Oh, it's this guy. That's the one that, like, creatures assign damage to their toughness. Honestly, I actually really like Black's, although that's not the MDFC I was thinking of. Our Bridgeworks battle doesn't work, and Disciple of Frehley's doesn't work, which kind of sucks, but I do think we want Balagan Recovery. Balagan Recovery is super good. Oh, I should read what they said about this list, actually, real quick. You bought the precon, swapped about 30 cards. I know it's a little short on lands, but I feel like the amount of dorks / ramp made up for it. Does it? We have one Arcane Signet. And, like, 2, 3, 4, 5 ramp spells? 6 like slow ramp spells? I don't know. I think you want some MDFCs. I think you want more utility. I mean, otherwise the list seems fine. Staff of Domination is for the infinite combo, I assume. I like the Ensnaring Bridge. I like the Meek Stone. I don't like Arcane Signet in this deck. I feel like a Nature's Lore or whatever is better, because you're in green. Might as well play the land ramp that's, like, functionally indestructible, right? I understand the curve is, like, kind of low, right? And it's 3.5. It's not that low. I don't... Man, Zatalpa seems like really win more in this deck. It's very funny. I think you want to lower your curve a little bit. I think Zatalpa is a little slow. Because you're kind of an aggressive deck. Because you have a lot of these, like, smaller creatures that you're, like, amping up their power by, you know, making this a 13/13 or whatever. And Zatalpa seems really slow. Call the Ring is interesting. I guess it's kind of like a Phyrexian Arena. Tower defense creatures going to +5. Yeah, it's pretty good. Sajari's Step to protect as a key piece. Yeah, Sajari's Step is just kind of too good not to have, right? Sajari's Shelter, I meant. Sorry. I said Step. That's a different card. Skyclave Cleric. Oh, and it's an MDFC. That's true. It's kind of a... Oh, man. What else would I cut? There's a lot of... Most of these are pretty good. During your turn, each creature assigns with toughness rather... Okay, that's necessary. Orient Frostfang's really good. McCready's super good. Fecund Green Shell is a little slow, but it's fine. Dracoma's quite good. Psychosis Crawler seems really win more. I think those are my changes, honestly. Here's the thing about decks like this, is they kind of build themselves in the sense that, like, yeah, are you going to put Axebane Guardian in the deck? Probably. Are you going to put the 0/6 in the deck? Yeah, probably. So it's really more about, like, fine-tuning the small pieces. I'm not 100% sold on tower defense, to be honest. Maybe you want something else. But, like, I don't know. I feel like just a few MDFCs to, like, get that little extra bit of sauce there. I know your curve is kind of low, and your card draw in the command zone, which does factor into all that. And then, like, dude, it's a tall. I know it's really funny, but it's 8 mana. I think, yeah. And then Signet for Nature's Law, and then Psychosis Crawler. I think you got a little bit of the win more. I think your deck's a little bit more efficient, a bit more utility. All right, moving on. Is this Lurrus in the command zone? It is Lurrus in the command zone. Okay. Lurrus in the command zone. Here it is. Okay. Lurrus Salvaging Station deck. Yo! This is your artifact list. Hit difficulty Salvaging Station out seamlessly. Your deck depends on it, and Mana Master too much. If they're exiled, you're screwed. Okay. So you can't counter that with a Pull from Eternity, which lets you get back exiled things, which is kind of weirdly good if you have a hidden commander deck like this. Is Sculpting Steel in here? No. That's something I'm super interested in. So I really like Sculpting Steel because it lets you make a second... Oh, is it already in here? Did I miss it? I did. Okay, never mind. What is your backup plan if the station is out? That's tough. Hacker Mauling, in addition to Feldon the Profane, is probably worth. You can just cut a swamp for it. You know who I like? Is it Falfor? No, that was the card I was just looking at, isn't it? It's that mono black artifact guy that nobody knows about or plays. Artifact. Mono black. Ah, they were Fein the Broker. That's what I'm thinking of. Auriok Salvagers. Oh, yeah. Good suggestion. Auriok Salvagers is kind of your backup salvaging station. It's definitely way worse, but it kind of works. Now you want some other win cons other than these two, right? The Marionette Master, Marionette Apprentice. I think you can just win. You can win with Thousand Moon Smithy. And also, is it Ratchet? Ratchet Field Medic, yeah. Ratchet Field Medic is really good in here. And then you just need the, we have the Implement of Improvement. Are we playing the Origin Spellbomb? Yeah, boom. With Origin Spellbomb, Ratchet lets you go, super crazy flipping things around. Dakmore Salvage? It's, kind of slow, and you don't care about it that much. I think this deck isn't going to have any problems milling. The real question is, what do we cut for this crap? I kind of want Incarnation Technique to be cut. It lets you get your thing back. But your opponent's... You're getting small utility stuff back, which your commander already does anyway. So I don't know how necessary this is, and then you don't want to get... Your opponent will probably get more value than you. I don't think you need Ornithopter of Paradise, TBH. I think you'd rather just play like a utility card. Because like Milliken at least mills you, you know? Could lower the number of baubles? Maybe. They all kind of cantrip, or a lot of them cantrip. I don't know how much you really want to lower the number of baubles, you know? I think this perpetual timepiece might be a little slow. I guess you can get it back with your commander, which is kind of neat. Is Ornithopter of Paradise worth? I don't know. See, I don't like that it doesn't tap for mana immediately, unlike the Talisman or whatever, or Arcane Signet. Because Arcane Signet, you have so many 1-drops in this deck that you can realistically turn 2, go Arcane Signet, actually tap it for mana, and like use it. It's very efficient, whereas Ornithopter Paradise is quite slow compared to that. Oh, this is a transmute spell for the Restoration Specialist. Maybe we ditch Stitcher Supplier, because I don't think you're going to have any problems getting stuff in the bin. Because a lot of these already... Because the thing about, like, Self-Mill is great if you want stuff in the graveyard, but it doesn't get into the graveyard easily. Like, your big, fat reanimation target doesn't get in the graveyard easily. The baubles, you don't need Self-Mill because they already put themselves in the graveyard. So Self-Mill just isn't as useful. Is he playing a Cursed Marauder? No. That is pretty good with Lurrus. Yeah, that is pretty good with Lurrus, isn't it? Oh, that's 7 ads. There's so many ads. Well, it can be things can be 3 CMC because it's not as a companion. It's Lurrus is in the command zone, so you can have higher cost stuff. I think this card might be too slow. We actually don't need to add pull from Eternity. That was kind of a joke suggestion. Artifacts cost 1 less to cast. I think Timepiece is too slow. I've decided that. I actually don't know if you need Haggard Mauling. Your curve is so low. I think maybe this is my suggestion. So we got Ratchet and Oriok Salvagers has more ways to like flip and reanimate baubles and reuse them. Of course, Marauder is just like crazy value. It's like grindiness. Fane lets you do a bunch of different stuff, and then Thousand Moon Smithy is another proper win condition in a deck like this. Savine's recommendation is it's not vital, but it's good. It's hella good. Getting back a Sculpting Steel is like crazy good. I don't know. I think Savine's is worth. What bracket is this? This is 3. Linda. Linda. Oh no, this isn't the other thing. This is the Lich Queen. Oh, I see. Whenever you attack with one or more zombies. Oh, okay. You're pretty new to paper magic, started playing commander recently, won a deck with this commander. Already have about half the cards, can't invest in the rest in someone. Unsure if this deck is okay or has big issues. Roast and fix as much as you want. So I see that this is a zombie deck, right? So here's the thing about zombie decks in Commander is they are mostly the same pile of cards. So then they're all good. Zombies are one of the most like kind of like spoon-fed archetypes. You can just put all the good zombies in your deck and then go, Yahoo, we're good. If I were to suggest anything, it would be to cut some of the like Winmori cards, some of the higher cost cards, just speed up the deck a little bit. So for one, Myriad Landscape. This is a 3-color deck, my friend. I don't think this is really worth. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised we don't have a. Oh no, here's Path of Ancestry. Okay. Is Mana Confluence cheap now that it got reprinted? Nah, it's still expensive. Dang. I don't know. I mean, you can swap this for like any 2-color land, to be honest. I just think Myriad Landscape's really slow in a 3-color deck like this. Baby creature types, yeah. Oh, you missed it, but you're the Alesha guy. Sorcerer Scheme has been a great card, but in case I mill something useful, flashback, mill it. Thanks for the red spree, though. That card looks sick. Yeah, the red spree card is crazy good. This card's 6 mana. I just want to... Okay, so Teferi's Ageless Insight is, if you're new to Commander, this is like bait. This is a delicious, delicious bait for Commander players. What they do is they see this and they say, oh, if I have 50 zombies in play and Teferi's Ageless Insight and do the thing, I get to draw like 1 billion cards. It'll be so sweet. And this is all true, assuming your deck is completely functioning perfectly. You have your commander in play, you have all the stuff, you attack, and then you also have the Aegis Insight. Then it is really good, yes. But until all of that stuff happens, it actually just literally does nothing. A few other, like, quick traps that commander players fall into is things like Windfall. Unless you're taking a lot of advantage of these wheels, this card often loses you games. I have won so many games of Commander, countless games of Commander, because my opponent played a Windfall or a Wheel of Fortune and refilled my hand, and then I win the game. Giving your opponents a bunch of cards is really dangerous, which is also why Arcane Denial is not a very good Magic card. Giving your opponents extra resources is really, really bad because they're playing cards that extend their resources. So what happens is you give them a full hand of 7, and then they play cards that extend their resources, and then they have a full hand of 10, and they have all the cards they need to stop you. And your deck just folds to a board wipe. So if you draw them into a board wipe, you're going to lose the game. So those are, if you're new to Commander, those are things that I would avoid. We can solve this with just different counter spells. We're in 3 colors. So we have stuff like Dovin's Veto. Boom. Dovin's Veto. Awesome. Instead of Windfall, since we're looting, Dig Through Time. Dig Through Time or Treasure Cruise is like really sweet in a list like this. I know it kind of competes with the second ability of your commander, but the first ability is the reason you're playing this card. I would probably cut like at least one of these like big 6-mana cards just so you don't have too many high cost things and they don't get stuck in your hand too much. Necroduality is also a bit win more, but it's only 4 mana. It's not as bad. Hunted one's cool, but your commander's really powerful. It's gonna be targeted. So I think I would maybe cut that. Because if you don't have your commander, it's literally nothing. It does actually literally 0 effect on the game. We're not playing like any board wipes at all. I think that's wrong. I know obviously you want to go wide. You have a lot of creatures. Yada yada yada. Oh no, I guess we have Damn and Austere Command. Oh, I was looking at enchantments instead of sorceries. Oh, we have Damn and Austere Command. Never mind, we have board wipes. We're good. Return all zombie creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield, then destroy all humans? Sure, why not? What else can we add? I think we just want more removal. One thing that you'll learn playing Commander is there's a lot of broken cards in Commander. And sometimes you lose to them unless you have removal. And that's like the main thing most Commander players don't do, is they just don't play removal. Let's Stroke of Midnight. I think I also maybe want a little bit more like raw card draw in this deck. You know what's kind of a fun one? You could play Painful Truths. I actually really like this card a lot. It's in this deck. It's a 3-mana draw 3, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, the list is like fine. It's a pile of zombies. That's how zombie decks work. I don't think there's anything like egregiously bad. I don't think this is like overpowered. This is like a fine bracket. I guess it's a bracket 3 deck because of just Smothering Tithe, but honestly, if you swap this, it's a bracket 2 deck. Yeah. Okay. Feldon. Feldon is one of the coolest commanders ever printed, in my opinion. Mono red reanimator focused on artifacts have trouble dealing with aggro since you have no early board presence. Casting Feldon early is usually a death sentence. For early game, is it either board wipes, goblins, or bust? I even need more board wipes, additional removal. Alright. I got you. Here's the thing, is we can totally avoid a lot of aggro with goad. We can just goad our way out of this. If you're worried about like aggro and dying. There's some. This card's $15. All right, it's $10. That's the border what I would suggest. Disrupt Decorum. You could play Kazul. Kazul. It's 2 U's. Kazul, Tyrant of the Cliffs. Boom, boom, boom. All of these instantly make it way harder for you to be attacked. There's also Crawl Space. Yeah, Kazul, yeah. So all of this stuff, super great to avoid getting attacked. All right, Bothersome Quest, it's like a little pricey now, maybe when it gets reprinted. But like these, adding these 3, if they have a big scary board, boom, Disrupt Decorum. It buys you a whole turn and maybe kills a player. Let's take a look at some of your other options here. Like, what do we got? What are we reanimating? These all seem fine. Sure. Meteor Golem, I like it. Goblin Matron. Sure. Anger seems fine. What are we looking at here? Lightning Axe? Sure. Big Score, ready. Seize the Spoils. Draw to make a treasure, right? Yeah. This is pretty good. Hello, Rundevelt. New Patron member just post your deck if you have. That's not. I'm sorry. That's not how the. I'm sorry. That's not how the Patron deck reviews work. This is like there's like a queue, and that's also like not. If you look in the channel that says Deck Doctor, that explains how the Patron deck reviews will work from now on. I'm sorry for any confusion. When inside a battlefield, you may discard a card if you do draw 2 cards. Craft with dinosaurs? So this is just for looting? Isn't that worse than just like Cathartic Reunion? Oh, you already have Cathartic Reunion. Okay, cool. I missed that. But I mean, I'll try and take a look at your list. It's just not going to be like an on-stream thing right now. Man, this is a good list. This is like an actual like really tight list. I don't know if I'm seeing the Goblin Matron. I know it lets you search up Goblin Welder and like Goblin Engineer, but is that it? I don't know. That feels kind of eh. I think I just talked about not giving your opponents cards. Man, the Great Door is really funny. Wayfarer's Bauble, Covered Jewel, Boom Pile. Boom Pile is also funny. I think I want to say cut Goblin Matron. I don't know if it's worth. Honestly, this list is really good. Like, this is actually pretty tough, because it's got all the good stuff that I would add already. I think those are my changes. If you're worried about aggro, cut a couple of this junk, put a couple of this junk in there. That'll save you. Okay, last list for June, and then we can, later this week, move on to July. Mizzix, Counter Control, Win Con, Big Crackle of Power, Alt Win Con, Proliferation Experience Counters, with some other stuff, yada yada. Cool. Got it. Alright, I'm looking at this. If you want to play Control with Mizzix, immediately, the first thing that I'm looking at, where is Capsize? My goodness, buyback cards are so good with this commander. Because once you get to 3 experience counters, the buyback adds to that, and it just gets reduced. So this, once you get 4 experience counters, becomes blue bounce a thing, it goes back to hand. That is insane for a control deck. Super, super powerful. I'm very surprised it's not on this list. Okay, another thing I'm noticing, we have Propaganda in here, which I like Propaganda for this list because you have, like, no creatures, and because we have no creatures, you're, you know, prone to getting attacked. I really like cards like Evacuation in decks like this, because bouncing your commander to your hand doesn't reset the experience counters, and it doesn't send it back to the command zone, but it's still a way to instant speed wipe the board and not lose all your stuff, which is really strong. I think this is a really great thing for this list. And you have so few creatures, it's such a great card. And then you just replay your commander and you still have all your experience counters. PTSD for old Magic players intensifies. Yeah, I mean, this was an old school boogeyman in the format. There's like the Radiate, infinite combos we got going on here. Lots of good stuff. Honestly, Melik, the new Melik, not Is It Paragon? It's like, is it the detective one? Reforged Researcher. Yeah, that thing. I really like this for control decks. So one, it instantly reduces the stuff each turn by 3. So you can go, you know, Mind Swipe on your turn, the cost is reduced by 3. Mystic Confluence on your turn, the cost is reduced by 3. You know, blah, 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 right? Pretty sweet. And he gets huge. Because there's twice the number of instant sorceries in your bin. Just one Melik, like one Melik in play and 3 instant sorceries in your graveyard, it's a 6/6. That blocks a lot of attackers. And I feel like you can get more than 3 instant sorceries in your graveyard in this deck. At 4, it's an 8/8. That stops almost every creature in most people's decks. Is Sigil Sleep in there, putting it on VV? No, we should not play Sigil Sleep. Because, yeah, it's great with VV, but, like, VV's not in the command zone. So, what are we going to do when we draw Sigil without VV? It's just, eh. Is Spellburst in the list? This might be a Spellburst deck. Yeah. Man, this card sucks. Except in this deck. Is it 2 words? There it is. Yeah, Spellburst is great. It's a buyback counterspell. Oh, so good. Alright, let's find some cuts, because these are all great ads. But what are we getting out? We're getting rid of here. I actually really don't like Lightning Greaves in this list. Because we're like a slow control deck, and your commander recasts relatively well because it keeps the experience counters, and we don't care about the haste. It's like completely irrelevant for the deck. It might not be cuttable, but I don't know. I'm kind of iffy on it. Keep safe. Interesting. Yeah. No, I mean, like, Sigil Sleep's great. It's just, I think there's too many times you're going to draw it and then be like, what do I do with this? I don't like cutting card draw too much, but Mind Spring is like sorcery speed. That kind of sucks. You know what I mean? Lux's sacrifice? Sacrifice a legendary creature or pay 2. Cool. Oh, interesting. We might have too many copy spells. I think Galvanic Alliteration's kind of mid. You're not getting any reduction with your commander until you flash it back, and the reduction's 1 at most. We might have too many of these finishing X spells. I'm trying to think, because you don't need that many. Maybe we cut one of these. Sources Scheme is probably fine. Don't forget Reiterate. Reiterate, yes. Yeah, no, don't worry. They already have it in there. Yes. Maybe... Nah, because if you're on top with your commander, you kind of win, so maybe Greaves is just fine by virtue of that. Do we need Mana Geyser is the question? I guess you're restricted on pips, so maybe it makes sense. Past in Flames might be a little win more. I think those are my changes. I think if you want to be controlling, I really like Capsize. Evacuation, I think, is really good in this list. Melik is like a really great way to avoid damage. It's also kind of a finisher late game. It also is like a mini version of your commander. And then Spellburst is another great like counterspell for a deck like this. And that is it for June. Oh my god. Alright. Cool. We did it. Later this week, I'll get started on July. Thanks to all my patrons for submitting these. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Please keep in mind, this is not how the Patron deck reviews will be going forward. I'm going to go through the backlog, and everybody who's in the line but it's not how it is normally. You'll see at the end of the month how it normally works. Please read the Patron notes. Yeah. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. I'm gonna eat something. I'm starving.